So many people may say, why did Prabhupada go to the West to preach? इधर इंडिया में प्रीचिंग करने गया था ना. अरे 70 साल तक इंडिया में ही प्रीचिंग की है, लेकिन इंडियंस इतने मंद है ना कि जब तक वेस्ट से नहीं आते तब तक लेते नहीं. एंड क्लासिकल एग्जाम्पल इज Prabhupada's life. He had already started his preaching in Jhansi. बट झांसी में जहां उन्होंने सब एस्टेब्लिश कर दिया था, वहां का जो के मुंशी करके जो चांसलर थे, his wife needed that plot for her some project. And overnight Prabhupada को बोला गया कि you have to work in this place. And Prabhupada, after establishing it over 6 to 10 months, overnight he had to work it. At the same time, उनको टेलीग्राम आता है इलाहाबाद से, where his pharmacy company is running, कि जितना जितना पैसा आपने जिस जिसको देना था और जिस जिससे लेना था, वो सारा पैसा डूब गया है. प्लस जो पेटी कैश था आपके फैक्ट्री में, जो पेटी कैश था वो वर्कर्स लेके भाग गए. मतलब overnight from whatever he was doing, he has become a pauper, literally pauper. Now you may think that इतना सब भगवान के लिए कर रहे हैं, और प्रभुपाद के साथ भगवान ने ऐसा क्यों किया? He was establishing the preaching movement to spread Krishna consciousness. Whatever money he was earning from his company, that also he was engaging in preaching Krishna consciousness. So what Prabhupada is doing is perfect. Krishna should have given him success, no? But Krishna didn't give him success. Literally overnight Prabhupada को खारिज कर दिया पूरा. What was Prabhupada's response? Anybody knows what was Prabhupada's response? How did Prabhupada respond to that situation? What was Prabhupada's response? That will tell you how a pure devotee actually lives the shlokas of the Bhagavad Gita. Bhagavad Gita ke shloka is not just to quote. Bhagavad Gita ke shloka is to live it. You have to live the Gita. What was Prabhupada's response? Prabhupada smiled. Prabhupada smiled. And Prabhupada quoted a shloka from the Bhagavatam, which means that whatever the Lord does with a pure devotee is only to bring him closer to himself. That is, the Supreme Lord does not give too many material opulences to his pure devotee. Rather, whatever opulences are there, that also भगवान निकाल लेते हैं अपने भक्त से. क्यों? ताकि फिर निराश होके वो वापस भगवान के पास आ जाए. So what is Prabhupada saying? That this is ultimately the will of the Lord. I accept it. That is tolerance. So we may say, okay, वो तो सब कुछ निकल गया तो Prabhupada बोलेंगे, ठीक है. Now, exactly this happened in the year, I think 1955. Or no, probably 1960 somewhere. Exactly 12 years later, 1972, he is in San Francisco and he is celebrating Jagannath Rath Yatra. And he has hundreds of foreigners who are chanting in front of him. Rath Yatra chal rahi hai, he is on the Rath, he is doing Kirtan, and unke aage, unke samne, there are hundreds of Americans who are doing Kirtan. Just imagine the success. And devotee एक रिपोर्टर आते हैं और प्रभुपाद से पूछते हैं, तो स्वामी जी, you have gained much success. You are an old man coming from India, and single-handedly you have established such a vast, uh, you have such a huge following. What is the secret of your success? और प्रभुपाद क्या बोलते हैं जवाब में क्या बोलते हैं? What is Prabhupada's response? Actually, it is Prabhupada's success. अकेले आए थे अमेरिका में, कोई नहीं था उनके साथ, कोई मदद करने के लिए कुछ नहीं. For 1 year, Prabhupada was struggling to make one person a devotee at the age of 70. In that cold where खाने को भी कुछ ढंग का मिल नहीं रहा. So what was Prabhupada's response? Same thing. It is the will of the Lord. It is my Gurudev's desire. Actually, my Gurudev is sending all these young boys and girls to me, and they are helping me in my preaching mission. What is Prabhupada's response? My Gurudev is sending these young boys and girls to me. मतलब जब कुछ नहीं है तब भी भगवान की इच्छा है, जब सब कुछ है तो वो भी भगवान की इच्छा है. That is the meaning of matra sparshas tu kaunteya. You understand that when there is failure, you tolerate failure. When there is success, you tolerate success. You don't take success on yourself. That oh देख मैंने इतना बड़ा काम किया है ना. हमारे इधर पेशेंट आईसीयू में ठीक हो जाता है, वेंटिलेटर बाहर रह जाता है, कॉलर आप, मैंने ही ठीक किए. व्हाट तूने ठीक किए? कब वो अरेस्ट मारेगा तुमको मालूम नहीं था, तुमने क्या ठीक किए? है कि नहीं? ठीक करने वाले वही है. As long as that concept is there that you have to tolerate, whether it is failure or whether it is success, both have to be tolerated. Both have to be tolerated. That is a pure devotee. Because generally, when you are in negative mode, then what do you say? भगवान सब गलत करता है. भगवान है ही नहीं. You blame the Lord for everything. And when you get success, then what do you say? मैंने मेहनत किया है. I am, you know who I am. मेरे वजह से सब कुछ चल रहा है. So both of these are actually somebody who blames God when things are wrong, or one who is very proud when things are right. Both are the same only. Why both are same? Because both do not understand that ultimately it is through the modes of nature that Krishna is orchestrating for you. It is ये हो रहा है या वो हो रहा है. Ultimately you have to just tolerate. Tams titikshasva bharata. You have to tolerate. Okay, so this shloka is also very important. Now we'll go to the next very. Yes, this is also, this shloka actually defines the Atma. Okay, so of course, from shlokas 17 to shlokas 17 onwards, Krishna is defining the soul, but this shloka is very important, which generally everybody remembers as the definition of the Atma. न जायते मृते वा कदाचिन नयम भूत्वा भविता वा न भूया अजो नित्यम शाश्वतो यम पुराणो न हन्यते हन्यमाने शरीरे. This is text 20. If somebody asks you, who are you? What is your answer? I am Dr. Suraj, I am Dr. Siddesh, I am so and so, so and so, so and so. But actually, who are you? You are you are a soul who is within this body. This body is Dr. Suraj or whatever. But this body is going to change. But who am I? I am the eternal soul. And that soul is actually the eternal servant of Krishna. That is our understanding. Now, What is the quality of the soul? That is described here. Na jayate mrete va kadachin nayam bhutva bhavita va na bhuya ajo shashvatam ajo nityam shashvato yam purano na hanyate hanyamane sharire. That means for the soul there is neither birth nor death. The soul is always eternal, unborn, is free from everything else. Okay? And na hanyate hanyamane sharire. That means the body dies, but the soul never dies. Right? That is why we chant Bhagavad Gita, Bhagavatam when the person is dying. Why? Why do we do that? Because we know that the soul is eternal. The soul is hearing. The soul is hearing, and the soul will attain a higher destination when the soul hears these things at the time of. Okay. So this shloka generally people try to remember because that is the definition for the. Of course, ये उसके बाद के जितने भी है ना वासांसि जीर्णानि यथा विहाय नवानि गृह्णाति नरोपराणि तथा शरीराणि विहाय जीर्णानि अन्यानि संयाति नवानि देहि. These are all shlokas which define the soul. So what is the soul? Achedyo yam adaho yam akhledo shash shosha evacha nitya sarvagata sthano achalo yam sanatana. These are all qualities of the soul. Another very important quality of the soul is present everywhere. The soul can exist everywhere. Everywhere means we may see ourselves as you are a person, you are a person. The soul will exist even on moon planet. The soul can exist even on sun planet, where there is so much heat, but the soul can exist even in the sun planet. That means the soul does not need the body that we are thinking of. हमको लगता है कि जीने के लिए ऑक्सीजन चाहिए, खाना चाहिए, हवा चाहिए, है ना? ऐसे जरूरी नहीं है. आत्मा को देने के लिए कोई भी शरीर चलेगा. वो शरीर केवल वायु और अग्नि से बना हो सकता है, सिर्फ जल का बना हो सकता है. इतना ही है कि हम नहीं जानते हैं कि वैसा शरीर एग्जिस्ट होता है कि नहीं होता है. बट ऐसे भी शरीर हैं जो केवल दो तीन एलिमेंट से बना हुआ है. What we see, animal's body or a plant body or a whatever body, they are all made of all five Panchamahamut. But there are bodies which are not necessarily Panchamahamut, maybe just two or three, like bodies on the sun globe, will not have all five elements, may have only three. हवा, वायु, अग्नि और आकाश तीन से बना हुआ, वैसे भी हो सकते हैं. लेकिन उसमें भी यही आत्मा रहेगी. So that is also a quality of the soul, that the soul can exist anywhere, anywhere. Okay. Now, as we go ahead, then ये सब Krishna is this is very important. This is shloka number 2.40. This shloka is also very important. इसके आगे के श्लोक ना are all giving you is what Krishna is recommending about yoga pranali. From 2.39 onwards, he is introducing what is yoga. He is introducing what is yoga. And this shloka is also very, very important. Prabhupada quotes it so very commonly. Neha vikarma nasosti pratyavayo na vidyate su alpam ape asya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Trayate mahato bhayat. What is Krishna saying? Neha vikarma nasosti pratyavayo na vidyate. Means what? That this karma means which karma? Whatever karma we do in the path of progression in yoga. Whichever form of yoga you may take, karma yoga, jnana yoga, bhakti yoga, whichever form of yoga you endeavor in, neha vikaru nasasti, that will never diminish. That means आपने इस लाइफ टाइम में आपने 10% प्रगति किया, नेक्स्ट लाइफ टाइम में यू विल स्टार्ट फ्रॉम 11. नेहा विकर्म नासुस्ति and su alpam api asya dharmasya. That means you do little on this path of yoga. Trayate mahato bhayat. Means what? Trayate mahato bhayat means? Trayate means what? Trayate means to rescue. Rescue. Mahato bhayat. Mahato bhayat means great fear. What is the greatest fear? What is the greatest fear? Death. Correct. Death is the greatest fear. So, also, when you have endeavored in the path of yoga, when you approach death, death will not trouble you. Death will not trouble you. In the Shastras, Vedic stories, there's a very famous story of how death does not trouble you. Many great personalities. Can you quote anybody? Any story from the Bhagavatam? Parikshit Maharaj. Very good, excellent. Parikshit Maharaj. Very good, excellent. Parikshit Maharaj. Parikshit Maharaj knew that he will die in 7 days. Takshak will come and bite him and he will die. But those 7 days he was hearing Srimad Bhagavatam from Sukhdev Maharaj. And Sukhdev Goswami said, Bhagavatam Sukte Sukte, he was so full in consciousness of Krishna that he was just meditating. And even before Takshak came to bite him, his soul had already ascended into the spiritual world. He did not experience any pain. Trayate mahato bhaya. Anybody else? Bhishma Pitama on his bed of arrows. Very good. Have you heard of Dadichi Muni? He had given his spine. He had given his bones to make which astra? Vajra. The Vajra which Indra carries is basically the skeletal system of a great sadhu, Dadichi Muni. He just meditated and left his body. He just left his body. Death does not trouble these great souls. Why? Trayate Mahato Bhaya. They have already progressed so far in the yoga pranali, that leaving their body is not. And you may say, अरे यार ये तो सब बड़े बड़े लोग हैं, शास्त्रों में लिखे गए, आज की बात करो ना. इसीलिए you must read Prabhupada Leela. How did Prabhupada leave his body? How did Prabhupada leave his body? In Vrindavan, till the last moment, Prabhupada was translating Bhagavatam. Till the last moment, can you beat it? You are seeing so many people here in the ICU. हाँ? वो 6 नंबर, वो कैसे तड़पता है? Oxygen, oxygen, oxygen. Prabhupada was 88 years old. Prabhupada was 88 years old. Just a pack of bones. But when Prabhupada was to leave the body, another Brajvasi came to him and just asked Prabhupada, कैसा लग रहा है? What was Prabhupada's answer? कोई इच्छा नहीं। भगवान का जवाब क्या है? कोई इच्छा नहीं। See, this Trayate Mahato Bhayar is, it's not an impractical concept. And even when Prabhupada was leaving his body, the microphone was here. Prabhupada was still speaking till his last breath. What was Prabhupada speaking? Pure Krishna conscious philosophy. Pure Krishna conscious philosophy. There was no problem for Prabhupada to transcend. Because even when he was in this material world, he was totally Krishnamai. He was totally in Krishna. So automatically, as the time came to leave, he just left, speaking Krishna consciousness. Trayate Mahatobhaya. So when you read about the sadhu, when you read about the pure devotee, then you see the shlokas of the Bhagavad Gita coming live. Naito, this is dry philosophy. Bhagavad Gita is otherwise dry philosophy. When you apply those, when you read through the life of great souls, माधवाचार्य पकड़ो, रामाचार्य पकड़ो, प्रभुपाद पकड़ो और भक्तिसिद्धांत सरस्वती ठाकुर पकड़ो, उनकी जीवन को आप जब पढ़ेंगे तो आपको दिखेगा, ओ यस, ऑफ कोर्स, त्रायते महतो भया. ऑफ कोर्स इट इज नॉट दैट ही वाज सुअल्पम अपस्य धर्मस्य. ऐसा सुअल्पम नहीं किया था प्रभुपाद ने, तो पूरा पूरा जीवन ही डाल दिया था कृष्ण कॉन्शियसनेस में. बट द पॉइंट इज त्रायते महतो भया. नो फियर ऑफ इट. नो फियर ऑफ इट. So this is also very important. So now we will go towards, yes, this is the shloka of karma yoga, which most people quote and most people don't understand what they are quoting. What is that shloka? Most people will say, what does Bhagavad Gita tell you? Bhagavad Gita tells you to do karma. और उसमें बंद हो जाता है सब कुछ, मैं अपना कर्म कर रहा हूं. ऐसे बहुत से लोग बोलते हैं. In the very beginning, Krishna is defining what is karma yoga. What is that? This shloka shlok 2.47. Karmanya evadi karyaste ma phaleshu kadachana ma karma phala hetur bhut mate sango atpa karmani. You have heard this shloka. Many people quote this, na? Karmanya evadi karyaste ma phaleshu kadachana. Many people quote. What is the meaning? What is the meaning of this shloka? The meaning is that you are supposed to perform your prescribed duties, but the fruits of those labor are not yours. The fruits of those labor are not yours. Your duty is to treat your patient. वो patient ठीक हुआ तो glory is not yours. If I say that patient ठीक हुआ मेरी वजह से, then I become God, right? And that is the problem with most doctors. And most doctors feel that they are God. मैं जो बोलता हूँ वो करो, क्योंकि मुझे पता है क्या सही है और क्या गलत. And that is the height of egotism. I mean, my, and you will see that so commonly in the medical world. So commonly. So commonly. Unfortunately, so, but Krishna in the very beginning of the Bhagavad Gita is saying, the fruits of the labor are not yours. You have a right to study. But after studying so hard, whether you will gain success and get super speciality, that's not in your hand. That is for Krishna to decide. That's for Krishna to decide. And that is why Krishna says, Ma karma phala hetur bhur mate sangosva akarmani. Which means what? Never think yourself as the cause of all the work. You are not the cause for patient getting better. You just do your job. You are just the agent, right? Like the postman who brings the letter to you. It's not the postman who has written the letter, right? The postman has only come to give you the letter. At max, the postman can read the letter for you. But letter is coming from there, from somewhere else. पोस्टमैन बोलेगा अरे मेरे वजह से तेरे को लेटर मिला है समझा ना अगर वही लेटर नहीं लेके आएगा पोस्ट ऑफिस से तो दैट्स फूलिश ना ऑफ द पोस्टमैन उसका जॉब है उसको पगार मिलता है उसके लिए बट दैट डज नॉट मीन दैट ही हैज रिटन द लेटर राइट व्हेन डॉक्टर सेज दैट मेरे वजह से तो ठीक हुआ है इट इज लाइक द पोस्टमैन सेइंग दैट मैंने लिखा है तेरे लिए लेटर सो फूलिश इजंट इट इट्स एब्सोल्युटली फूलिश पोस्टमैन क्या करता है पोस्ट बॉक्स से निकालता है पढ़ता है ये आपका लेटर है ये आपका लेटर है ये आपका लेटर है डॉक्टर भी उतना ही है पोस्टमैन ही है ये आपकी दवाई है आपकी दवाई है आपकी दवाई है आपको लेटर अच्छा लगा तो अच्छा है नहीं अच्छा लगा तो मेरी गलती नहीं है कि नहीं But a simple thing, it's such a simple thing, but nobody understands. And that is the first principle of Karma Yoga. I am not the cause for that work to be done, and the result of that work is not mine. The result of that work is not mine. But ये concept किसी को समझ में आता नहीं है क्योंकि कोई ये किताब पढ़ता नहीं है. That's the problem. Okay, so we go ahead from here. And of course, बहुत कुछ है इसके आगे. But the second chapter of the Bhagavad Gita gives a lot of beautiful shlokas. Because the second chapter, it has Krishna is giving a précis writing of the entire Gita. So एक श्लोक जो है ना वो हीरे की तरह है. मतलब आपने ध्यान में रख दिया उसको उस पर काम कर लिया तो हो गया सफल हो जाएगा लाइफ. Wait, yes. This is also a very important concept. Now, this two shlokas, shlok number 62 and 63. This is something that all of us as practicing sadhakas, in whichever yoga form you may be endeavoring, but this 62, 63 is for all yoga practitioners, especially bhakti yogas to follow. What is that? ध्यायतो विषयां पुंसाम संगास्तेषुपजायते संगात् संजायते कामं कामात् क्रोधाभिजायते क्रोधात् भवति सम्मोहः सम्मोहात् स्मृति विभ्रमः स्मृति विभ्रमात् बुद्धिनाशो बुद्धिनाशात् प्रणश्यति. What is this? What did I tell you just now? What is Krishna telling Arjuna? That how does a yoga practitioner fall down? नाश कैसे होता है? आप योगा प्रणाली कर रहे हैं आप भक्ति योगा कर रहे हैं साधना भक्ति कर रहे हैं लेकिन साधना भक्ति करते हुए आप अपने पथ से कैसे विमुख हो जाएंगे वो यहां बता रहे हैं. वेरी सिंपल बट सो प्रोफाउंड. Krishna says, Dhyayato Vishayam Pumsam. Which means, if once you start thinking about sense object means what? Vishay. It may be how much money I am gaining, what car I want to buy, what house decoration, or maybe what picnic I will go to, or maybe ये लड़की बहुत सुंदर है, ये लड़का बहुत अच्छा है, ये सब ध्यायतो विषय हमको। जैसे ही आप वो ध्यायतो करते हैं, you are caught. Why? Because lust resides in the mind and the senses. Lust resides in the mind and the senses. So ध्याय तो विषयम भुक्तम, वहां आपने शुरू कर दिया, गया गड़बड़। उसके बाद क्या होगा? संगास्तेषु उपजायते। Just because you are thinking, your desire increases. तो desire से क्या होता है? संगात क्या होता है? संगात संजायते काम, काम क्रोध विजायते। काम वासना बढ़ जाती है, मुझे चाहिए, मुझे चाहिए, मुझे चाहिए। It may be money, it may be beautiful wife, it may be whatever, but that is काम. You get it, then what happens? You become more greedy. You get that thing, you get money, you get a good salary, then you want better salary. You get a good job, you want better job. है ना? Greed. और चाहिए, और चाहिए। संगात संजायते काम. You don't get it. जो चाहिए वो नहीं मिलता है आपको, फिर क्या होता है? कामात क्रोध अभिजायते। एंगर, मुझे चाहिए था, मेरा था वो, नहीं मिला। क्लासिकल एग्जांपल्स आ जाए, रावण, हिरण्यकशिपु, ऑल आर क्लासिकल एग्जांपल्स ऑफ क्रोध अभिजायते। कामात क्रोध अभिजायते। नेक्स्ट क्या होता है? क्रोधात भवति सम्मोह। सम्मोह में डिल्यूजन, ऑल कंफ्यूजन, आपका लॉजिकल थिंकिंग बंद हो जाता है। सम्मोह स्मृति विभ्रम, स्मृति गया, मेमोरी इज गॉन। स्मृति विभ्रम, बुद्धि नष्ट, इंटेलिजेंस गया, इंटेलिजेंस जाएगा। योर पावर टू डिस्क्रिमिनेट दिस इज राइट एंड दिस इज रॉन्ग, दिस इज राइट एंड दिस इज रॉन्ग गया। When that power of discrimination is gone, what will happen? प्रणश्यति। जिधर से शुरू किया था उधर वापस। You started your sadhana bhakti at certain point of time, you are back to square one. Where did it all start? मुझे ना वो गाड़ी चाहिए, वो बेस्ट, वही गाड़ी अच्छी। उसने भी बोला था वो गाड़ी अच्छी, 10 लाख की गाड़ी। That is where it all starts. ध्यायतो विषयम पुंसाम। एक मिनट, सॉरी sorry for the disconnect. अरे बात, हाँ। So where was I? क्या बोल रहा था? Yes, ध्यायतो विषयम पुंसाम. So where does it all start? It all starts by when we start thinking, मुझे ये चाहिए, मुझे ये चाहिए। ध्यायतो विषयम पुंसाम. So crisp and clear Krishna is in giving the right message. ये सीधा सेकंड चैप्टर अभी शुरू ही किया है। The Gita is just started, लेकिन बिगिनिंग में ही कृष्णा इज गिविंग दोस पर्ल्स कि आपको क्या करना है। मात्रा स्पर्शास्तु कौनते है, कीप टॉलरेटिंग ताम सतिक्षु से भारत। हाउ डू यू ओवरकम द फियर ऑफ डेथ? नेहा भी करुणा सुस्ती, वो भी आपको दे दिया। ये सब सेकंड चैप्टर में कृष्ण इज गिविंग। जस्ट इमेजिन आगे क्या क्या आने वाला है। सो हियर कृष्ण इज गिविंग दी पॉइंट, ध्यायतो विषयम पुंसाम। आप वहां आपने कंट्रोल कर दिया ना योर थॉट प्रोसेस, बस देन इट इज स्टडी। एंड दैट इज व्हाई That is why in the yoga ladder, karma yog, ज्ञान योग, ध्यान योग, भक्ति योग, इन जितने भी योग हैं, कर्म योग में, ध्यान योग में, ज्ञान योग में, you have to control the mind constantly control the mind. It's only in bhakti yoga that the mind is already engaged somewhere else, in a higher taste. The mind is engaged in hearing about Krishna. The mind is engaged in serving Krishna. The mind is engaged in serving Krishna devotees. The mind is engaged in deity worship. So mind already has constant engagement. So mind को दबा के, mind को squeeze करके कर्म और ध्यान और ज्ञान की जरूरत ही नहीं. That is why Bhakti Yoga is called Buddhi Yoga. It is called Buddhi Yoga because you are tactfully engaging the most difficult mind into activities that will keep it free from unnecessary deviation. That is Bhakti Yoga. Okay, so this is how the second chapter ends. The third chapter and fourth chapter का मैं बाद में important श्लोकास करेंगे हम. इसमें बहुत सारे beautiful श्लोकास हैं, लेकिन I just want to cover little about Krishna Janmashtami and Prabhupada appearance day. Okay, so I don't think I will be able to have another session before that because next 2 Sundays I'm kind of caught up. So why do we celebrate Krishna Janmashtami as Janmashtami? Anybody? Actually, भगवान का जन्म नहीं होता ना, भगवान तो प्रकट होते हैं, है कि नहीं? लेकिन फिर भी हम कृष्ण जन्माष्टमी बोलते हैं, कृष्ण जयंती नहीं बोलते हैं. जैसे बलराम जयंती होता है या बुद्ध जयंती होता है, लेकिन कृष्ण जन्माष्टमी बोलते हैं. Why? How? He was in the womb of Dev, but in the jail, he does not come out of the womb of Dev. How does he appear? What does Krishna book describe? The appearance of Krishna. He comes before Devki and Vasudev in the 400 form. And then Devki and Vasudev go down and then they say, no, please, we want you as baby child. So then Krishna says, okay, I will come as baby. He does not come out of the uterus. Krishna never appears like that. Why is it called Krishna Janmashtami? इधर रखता हूँ तो आप लोगों को, नहीं तो उधर से सुनाई नहीं देगा. मैं इधर आवाज जाता है, उधर आवाज आएगा ही नहीं. Why is it called Krishna Janmashtami? है कि नहीं? If you read Krishna book very clearly describes how Krishna first comes as 400 form in the jail of कंस के जेल में. पहले चतुर्भुज रूप में आते हैं और फिर देवकी और वसुदेव प्रार्थना करते हैं तो छोटे बच्चे के रूप में आते हैं. तो जन्म कहाँ होता है? वो तो प्रकट होते हैं, प्राकट्य है. जन्माष्टमी को बोलते हैं. भगवान कृष्ण जो भी करते हैं ना, वो what does the Gita say? Why does the Lord appear? What is the shloka? आप लोग का तो एग्जाम लेना चाहिए ऐसा मुझे लग रहा है. आप लोग सबका एग्जाम लेना चाहिए ऐसा लग रहा है मेरे को.
परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय
आंसर पेपर. परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृतां धर्म संस्थापनार्थाय संभवामि युगे युगे. है ना? महाभारत में कितनी बार हर हर संडे को तो ये श्लोक बजता था यार, अभी तक तो बैड होना चाहिए था नहीं क्या? बी आर चोपड़ा का महाभारत किसने मिस किया है? एवरी सीरियल हम देखते थे, भाग भाग के पहुंचते थे, खेलते थे, जो भी होता था 9 AM कटाक घर पे टीवी के सामने बैठ जाते थे, बराबर है कि नहीं? हम तो बैठ जाते थे भैया, आप लोग का पता नहीं। तो एवरी एवरी संडे यू हैड टू हियर परित्राणाय साधूनां विनाशाय च दुष्कृताम्, है कि नहीं? दैट इज द पर्पस, दैट इज द पर्पस. Now of these purposes, what is the main purpose that he comes? विनाशाय च दुष्कृताम के लिए आते हैं क्या?
परित्राणाय साधूनां,
दुष्टों का संहार करने के लिए आते हैं, दैट इज हिज मेन पर्पस.
Reestablish the
मेन
dharma.
पर्पस क्या है?
Reestablish the dharma.
टू रीएस्टैब्लिश द
Establish the
धर्म.
dharma.
हाँ,
Yes.
On the request of devotees to please to
on the request of devotees. Okay, so to re-establish dharma also he can send his associates, like he sent Prabhupada to establish ISKCON.
to give his
He is
name,
establishing dharma, no?
to give his name, form, abodes of or
Yes, to give his name, form, abodes to whom?
pastimes
To whom?
to the devotees.
Ah, to his devotees. Paritranaya sadhuna, to allay the anxiety of his devotees. That is the prime reason why he comes. That is the prime reason why he comes. So Krishna, when he appears before Devaki and Vasudev, he is telling Devaki and Vasudev that you have been my parents in the past also. But there is another set of parents that Krishna has. Where? In Gokul. And there, here, Devaki and Vasudev, because they still have some the conception of God, that you are the Supreme Almighty, that concept is there. But with Yashoda and Nand Maharaj, that concept is lost. So Yashoda is so much meditating कि कृष्ण आएंगे, कि Krishna, the Supreme Lord, does not have the will to appear before Yashoda Maya in 400 form. Because he feels that if I appear before Yashoda Maya in 400 form, then she might not be able to accept me as her son. So what he does? He actually appears as a normal child from the womb of Yashoda Maya as twins. One girl, one boy. Who is the girl? Is Parashakti, is Durga Maya. And who is the boy? Is Krishna. So nobody knows in Gokul, but when Yashoda Maya was in labor, she delivers twins. And she actually delivers twins. That is why it is Krishna Janmashtami, because Gokul में भगवान जन्म लेते हैं. हाँ, ये आपने नहीं सुना है.
तो नंद किसको लेके आते हैं फिर वहां से?
तो जब वासुदेव को भगवान ऑर्डर देते हैं, भगवान नंद महाराज और यशोदा मैया को कभी ऑर्डर नहीं दिए. ओ ओ ओ ओ ओ Fluid. So, where was I? Ah, so uh, वसुदेव को भगवान ऑर्डर देते हैं, लेकिन गोकुल में भगवान कृष्ण कितनी बार यशोदा मैया या नंद महाराज को ऑर्डर दिए? कभी नहीं. जब ऑर्डर देना भी था तो प्रेम से बोले कि आप इंद्र यज्ञ क्यों कर रहे हैं, कोई मतलब नहीं है इंद्र यज्ञ करके, आपको तो गोवर्धन की पूजा करनी चाहिए. प्रेम से बोले. क्यों? क्योंकि ये बाबा और मम्मा मैया है. बट विद देवकी एंड वसुदेव ही स्टिल हैड दैट aura of being the supreme personality of Godhead. But in Gokul, in Brajadham, that aura is lost. In Brajadham, that aura is lost. That I am the supreme personality of Godhead. No, Krishna is just another Brajavasi. And because he is just another Brajavasi, he does not have the bolte na, the guts. So Krishna doesn't have the guts to appear before his mother in 400 form. So actually Krishna takes birth. That is why Krishna Janmashtami. And when Vasudev brings little Krishna across Jamuna to Gokul, that Krishna, that is Vasudev Krishna, merges with Yashodanandan Krishna. And then Durga Maiya को वापस लेके जाते. So Krishna appears primarily for Paritranaya Sadhuna. Just to give his name, his form, his beauty, his Venu Madhuri to his devotees so that they have a glimpse of the spiritual world. Of course, most of them have descended from the spiritual world only. But ये करने से क्या है, बाकी हमारे जैसे लोगों को एक glimpse मिलेगा. बाकी जो भी ब्रजवासी थे, जो भी अभी नंद महाराज हैं, यशोदा मैया हैं, ये सब स्पिरिचुअल वर्ल्ड से डायरेक्टली नीचे आए. उनको पहले से ही सब पता है. लेकिन जब यहाँ आए तो सब कुछ पता है ऐसा नहीं करते. They behave as though they are Maiya and Baba, Nand Baba and Yashoda Maiya, बस. And Krishna also deals with them in the same way. कभी कभी ऐसा भगवान अपना स्वरूप दिखाते हैं, मुंह खोल दिए तो उसमें पूरा भूगोल दिखा दिया, पूरा यूनिवर्स दिखा दिया, क्षण भर के लिए दिखा दिया, लेकिन उसके वेरी नेक्स्ट मोमेंट में सब कुछ भूल जाती है यशोदा मैया. व्हाई? Because Krishna does not want him to be known as the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Krishna just wants to be another Brajavasi. Why? Because home is where the heart is. Where is Krishna's heart? In Braj. Krishna's heart is in Braj. So that is why, what is the meaning of being Brajavasi? Just as Braj is Krishna's heart, when you put Krishna in your heart, you are also Brajavasi. When you put Krishna in your heart, then you are also Brajavasi. So when Krishnadas Babaji came to meet Prabhupada when he was really sick, Krishnadas Babaji asked Prabhupada's disciples, do you know who is the greatest Brajavasi? क्या हुआ? Okay. So, uh, who is the greatest Brajvasi? Gopis. Okay. That's what they also answered. Gopis. Krishnadas Babaji said no. He said, what did the gopis sing in the Gopi Geet? What is the Gopi Geet? Whom are the gopis glorifying in Gopi Geet? In the Gopi Geet, the gopis are glorifying those devotees who constantly chant your holy names and your pastimes and spread those pastimes across the globe. A bhurida jana. The gopis are glorifying those devotees who are bhurida jana. Bhurida jana means who can spread Krishna, who take Krishna across the globe. The gopis are glorifying that devotee to be the best. Krishnadas Babaji says, your Guru, your Swamiji, he is the best Brajavasi. He is the topmost Brajavasi. Because even the gopis worship that devotee who is Bhuri Dajana. So that is the glory of Prabhupada. And that is why, although बाकी सब जगह नंदोत्सव मनाते हैं, for us नंदोत्सव is Prabhupada's appearance day. सोचिए, Krishna chose that day specifically for Prabhupada to be born. Prabhupada could have been born, could take birth on any day, but specifically one day after Janmashtami, the very next day when everybody, the whole world is celebrating Nandotsav, that day Prabhupada is appearing. Right? So special. और प्रभुपाद की जब कुंडली निकालते हैं, गौर मोहन दे किसी बड़े एस्ट्रोलॉजर को बुलाते हैं और बोलते हैं उनको कि आप जरा ये देखो, तो कुंडली देख के बोलते हैं ये तो बहुत कंफ्यूजिंग है. तो बोले क्यों? बहुत ही ज्यादा कंफ्यूजिंग है. बोलते हैं ही विल हैव, इतना धन है उनके पास, इतना धन है उनके पास, इतना धन है कि आप सोच ही नहीं सकते, इतना धन है. फिर बोले उसमें कंफ्यूजिंग क्या है? इतना धन है लेकिन सन्यासी है. इतना धन है लेकिन सन्यासी है. समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. सन्यासी भी कैसे हो सकते हैं और धनी भी कैसे हो सकते हैं? मोस्ट कंफ्यूजिंग. और बोलते पूरे विश्व भर में घूमेंगे. सन्यासी हैं तो पूरे विश्व में कैसे घूमेंगे? बोले मोस्ट कंफ्यूजिंग, हमको समझ में नहीं आ रहा है. बट एस्ट्रोलॉजर नहीं है तो प्रभुपाद के जन्म में ही बोल दिया कि ऐसा ही होने वाला है. That he is going to be. So Gaur Day, when sadhus would come to their house, Gaur Day would tell the sadhus, जो भी, कोई सच्चे साधु है, कोई ढोंगी साधु है, लेकिन जो भी आते थे उनके घर में सबको खिलाते थे. और फिर क्या बोलते थे उनको? प्लीज ब्लेस माई सन दैट ही बिकम्स अ डिवोटी ऑफ राधा रानी. प्लीज ब्लेस माई सन so that he becomes a devotee of Radha. This is what Gaur Mohan used to say. And sure enough, he became a pure devotee of Srimati Radharani. So 20, 26th, I think 26th is Monday, no? 26th is Krishna Janmashtami and 27th is Prabhupada's appearance day. Two very special days. Janmashtami तो full day fasting है, Prabhupada appearance is half day fasting till noon. जो भी हम कर सकते हैं उस दिन, keep our minds as Krishna conscious as possible, as Prabhupada conscious as possible. वो करना चाहिए, right? Thank you everybody for coming for this. मैं हमेशा कुछ घंटों का ही टाइम देता हूँ अटेंड करने के लिए, लेकिन आप सब आ जाते हैं. थैंक यू.